Lots to talk about with Vikings training camp underway, position battles, who's running with the ones and the twos, Danielle Hunter. We'll get to that in just a second. But it's time we have a conversation here. Lewis Cine. And I know it's early, training camp just started, but when you account for OTAs and minicamp, Hitman and Cam Bynum, they're running the show. Josh Metellus is getting high praise from Brian Flores, and you know he's going to play some sort of hybrid role in sub packages. Lewis Cine seems to be at the bottom of the depth chart, safety 4. This is a year removed from being a former first-round pick in 2022, 32nd overall. First-round picks outside of, say, quarterback, because they need their hands held a little bit longer, they need to develop a little bit more than the other positions, I get it. First-round picks outside of quarterback, they are plug-and-play guys. These are guys that should make, if they're not going to start, they're at least going to play a bleep ton of snaps. Immediate impact players. And you could say, well, you know what? Lewis Cine, he got hurt last year, missed the final 14 games. Okay, we can make that argument if we want to. What I would say to that is even before he got hurt, and this is suffering a fractured tibia, fibula, and dislocated ankle, even before he got hurt, he was mainly a special teams guy. 34 special team snaps to 2 defensive snaps before he got hurt. 0 starts. But that's in the past. Fast forward to now, still at the bottom of the depth chart, even with a new defensive coordinator. You've had before now OTAs and minicamp. You can't outshine Cam Bynum, who was a disaster last year. Maybe he needs a generous learning curve. Okay, fine, but that sounds like a third-round pick to me. That's scouting. Kwesi Adafo-Mensah, you're the GM. You have your scouting department. You are the professionals. You get paid a lot of money to do what it is that you do. I'm just some guy on YouTube. What is it about this guy that doesn't add up? Why is he struggling to get anywhere past the cellar of the depth chart at his position? Why is that? And when you consider that draft day trade that you had a year ago, trading down 20 spots from 12 to 32, to get this guy, there is no wiggle room here. He has to work out. You have to nail that pick. The TJ Hockenson trade is not going to make up for that. And when you consider the players that you passed up on to trade down to 32, Jordan Davis, Kyle Hamilton, Tyler Linderbaum, all I'm saying is going from year 1 to year 2, you want to see some sort of progression. And I understand he was hurt. He missed the final 14 games last year of 2022. But when you look at when he was healthy last year, compare that to what we're seeing right now, it's the same player. A guy who may or may not have a role this year. And as a former first-round pick, that's ridiculous. I'm not calling him a bust. I'm not saying that it's time to panic by any means. What I am saying, speaking just for myself, I am really concerned right now. Danielle Hunter, no longer holding out. He is holding in. Wasn't at practice yesterday. I guess he was at the cafeteria at TCO Performance Center or something, but he's holding in. In other words, I'm just here so I won't get fined until you either give me a new contract or trade me. Until then, I'm not going to participate in any activities. Fair enough. He recently followed the Jacksonville Jaguars on social media, so I guess that's something to look out for. I honestly just don't see how it's possible to pay this man. He's going to want a boatload of money. Last year, Danielle Hunter got paid $20 million. The year before that, 13. The year before that, $11.5 million. So he's only going to expect more money than what he got before. I just don't see how it's possible when you have upcoming extensions for Justin Jefferson, Christian Darrisaw, TJ Hockenson. These are guys that are going to demand top money because they're the top players, some of the top players at their position. Justin Jefferson being the top. You look at Justin Jefferson, you compare the salary that he's going to get. You have to look at Tyreek Hill first, who gets an average salary of $30 million per year. TJ Hockenson, I know everyone's looking at Cole Kmet's contract and saying, oh my God, that's really going to make a huge difference. TJ Hockenson, he's going to get the bag now, but that doesn't really knock my socks off. Cole Kmet is the 10th highest paid tight end right now. And when you think about TJ Hockenson, I'm looking at guys like Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews, guys like that. And then at left tackle, Andrew Thomas. Andrew Thomas just got a 5-year, $117.5 million contract extension. Christian Darrisaw, that might end up being the baseline for him. You still have, that's just 3 players, by the way. You still have to fill out 50 more players on your 53-man roster. I just don't see how it's possible. And even if you want to bring back Kirk Cousins at a lower rate, I just don't see how it's going to be possible to also pay Danielle Hunter. I think you should trade him. You can get a first-round pick if you play your cards right. Get it done. That is the next big domino to fall.